Good morning, my dear students. In marketing management course, in this lecture, we will discuss chapter 7 about the pricing and understanding customer value and some pricing strategies. In this chapter, we will discuss the pricing considerations and approaches. And after reading this chapter, you should be able to understand the internal and external factors affecting price, explain the impact of cost on price, see how market structures influence price setting, and compare and evaluate the general approach or general approaches to price setting. What we mean with the price. The price is the amount of money charged for a product or service. It's the sum of all the values that the consumers give up in order to gain the benefits of having or using a product or service. So the price in the price we concern with the product or service values or the perception values for the consumers, not only for the costs. And the price is the only element in the marketing mix that produces revenue, but all the other elements or items in the marketing mix represents costs for the organizations. The customer perceptions of value included understanding how much value consumers place on the benefits they receive from the product and setting a price that captures that value. In this chapter, the um, marketing produces and have some products and service have a price just as they have a value. Many non-profit and all profit making organizations must also set prices, be they the price on the times, the price of access to see some prices approaches and some prices strategies or types for pricing like the value-based pricing. The value-based pricing uses the buyer's perception of value, not the seller's costs. So here there are a difference between the value and the costs. In the value-based pricing, we will base on the value, not on the cost. As the K2 pricing, price is considered before the marketing program is set. Value-based pricing is customer-driven, but the cost-based pricing is product-driven. We have three types of pricing, included the customer perception of value, like the value-based pricing, good value pricing, and value-added pricing. We will differentiate between these classification of pricing. Good value pricing means offers the right combination of quality and good service to fair price. But the value added pricing attached value added features and service to differentiate offers, support high prices, and build pricing power. The pricing power is the ability to escape price competition and to justify higher prices and margins without losing market share. But in the third type of pricing, based on the costs or cost-based pricing, involves setting prices based on the costs for producing, distributing, and selling the product plus a fair rate of return for its effort and risk. And the cost-based pricing adds a standard markup to the cost of the product. In the cost-based pricing, we should identify the costs or the different classification of costs. We have three types of costs: the fixed cost, variable cost, and the total cost. What's the difference between these types of costs or these classifications? The fixed costs are the costs that don't vary with production or sales level, like rent, heat, interest, and executive salaries. But the variable costs are the costs that vary with the level of production, like packaging, raw materials. The total costs are the sum of the fixed and variable costs for any given level of production, and we have the average costs. We will take the average of all these types of costs. The experience or learning curve is when average cost falls as a production increase because fixed costs are spread over more units. The type of cost plus pricing or cost based pricing, in this type we add a standard up for the cost of the product, and this type of pricing have some advantage and some disadvantages. The advantage, like the sellers are certain about costs, prices are similar in the industry, and the price competition is minimized. The customer feel it's fair, but have some advantage like ignoring the demand curve and the competitor pricing and some um, external factors like the suppliers and distributors, or all these factors influence on the price. The break-even pricing is the price at which the total costs are equal to total revenue and there is no profit. So in the break-even point we have no profits and no costs, and the total revenue equal the total cost. But in the target profit pricing, is the price at which the firm will break even or make the profit it's seeking. We have some internal and external consideration the marketeer should take into account. The target costing starts with an ideal selling price based on customer value considerations and then targets costs that will ensure that the price is met. There are some organizational considerations include who should set the price, who can influence on the price. It based on the type of the marketplace or the industry that we work in. We have four types of the market and demand, or four types of the industries and marketplace, like the pure competition, monopolistic competition, oligopolistic competition and the pure monopoly. In the pure competition, the number of buyers and sellers are very large. There is a perfect competition among them. All firms have to sell their product and price, and no firm can influence price by a single action. But in the monopolistic competition refers to a market situation where there are many firms selling a differentiated product. No firms can have any perceptual influence on the price about policies or the other sellers, nor can it be influenced much by their actions. Uh, Then, in the third type is the oligopolistic competition. The oligopoly is a market situation in which there are a few firms selling differentiated products. There may be 3 or 5 firms that influence on the industry and on the prices. With only a few firms in the market, the action of one firm is likely to affect the others. But in the pure monopoly is a market situation in which there is only one seller of a product with barrier to entry of others. The price maker will be this monopoly firm, and this may occur because the firm has a license for the government to be monopoly, and the pure monopoly occurs when the producer is so powerful that always able to take the whole of consumer's income, whatever the level of his output. Then we will study the relationship between the demand curve and the price. We know that there is a negative relationship between the price and demand. The demand curve shows the number of units the market will buy in a given period at different prices, and there are inversely a relationship between demand and price. The higher price will give lower demand. Then we should know the price elasticity of demand and the difference between inelastic demand and elastic demand and the equation of the price elasticity of demand. Then we have some internal and external consideration for the competitors' strategies. Any marketeer or any market department should take into account these considerations. Then we have 2 basic pricing strategies for the new product pricing strategies, like the market skimming pricing and market penetration pricing. The first strategy is the market skimming pricing is a strategy for setting a high price for a new product. So I have a new product and I will enter the marketplace with a high price for this product. All this to skim maximum revenues layer by layer from the segments willing to pay the higher price. The company make fewer but more profitable sales. There we have an example for the marketing skimming pricing for the Sony firm when it introduced a new product of the television of HD TV to the Japanese market. The high tickets cost 43,000. These televisions were purchased only by customers who really wanted the new technology and afford to pay high prices. But in the market penetration pricing, we included and based on the low price, we set a low initial price in order to penetrate the market quickly and deeply, to attract a large number of buyers quickly, to gain market share. Then in the market penetration pricing, the consideration is to the maximum number for the consumers, and the price is very sensitive in this market. The production and distribution costs must fall as sales volume increases, and the low prices must keep competition out of the market. Here we have an example for Dell firm when used the penetration pricing to enter the personal computer market, selling high quality product or high quality computer products. Selling high quality computer products through lower cost direct channels. So these two important strategies in pricing, the market skimming pricing, the market penetration pricing. At this point, we end our chapter of the pricing consideration and pricing strategies. And thank you, my dear students. See you soon. Goodbye.